What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Gmias World Podcast. Today we're going to be talking the AB press conference. He's hugging Derek Carr on TV. Well, I guess it was his Instagram, calling John Gruden Mr. Gruden. Like, that just scared me when he did that. And him, dyeing his mustache back to the black color. All of those things that went on with the press conference, including him saying that he wants to continue to be a good role model. It's very, very interesting. And I know a lot of people have a lot of you probably look at it like, yeah, this guy's doing what he has to do. Everything that he did before, let's just forget about it. I'm not saying that I'm going to forget that the guy ever had a blonde mustache. I'm not going to forget that he ever Facebook Live the Steelers, like their whole interview and everything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some insight into it. 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, when he actually did that after a big playoff win, when he Facebook Lived it, I have my video timestamped where I was just disgusted about what he did. That video can be found on Gmias World. That's my original channel, but it's available if you're on iTunes, Android, your iHeartRadio, Spotify. You can search it. You'll find it as an actual podcast. But I was very disgusted that he did that. And the reasoning behind why I was disgusted was because it was a rare opportunity that I thought that he had gotten it and they would probably be able to beat the Patriots the next week. Like that's what I was ultimately thinking. But when I saw that he did that, initially, because like when you're in a locker room, it's so sacred for anybody that's actually been in a locker room for any sport. Whatever you're doing, it's you against the world. And I thought at that point that he wasn't a team guy. That was just my point. Like, yo, bro, look, this guy's all about him. He doesn't care about anything else. He's bigger than the team. That was my first thought. Then as time went on, I started to think about a lot of the other things coming out. James Harrison speaking about the fact that Mike Tomlin doesn't have control of the locker room. The players don't respect Tomlin. A lot of different things started to happen. And I started to think about it like, one thing you learn in life is that people will take advantage of you if you allow it, right? So he had to be getting away with a lot of other things for him to even have the girth to do that kind of action to his teammates. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, this dude, for him to do that, it had to do a lot with what the organization was allowing him to do. So ultimately, yeah, you want the players to make the right decision. But then I started to think about it like, why would he feel that that was okay to do? All right, you're building your brand, all that stuff like that. Everything is all good. But that's a little bit beyond to go ahead and let everybody see what goes on in such a sacred place. And no matter what type of school, it could be high school, college, middle school, whatever, your locker room is sacred. So the more I thought about it, I started to actually think about Mike Tomlin. Like, yo, what is this dude doing? Like, is he out there really coaching? Do anybody even care about, do they even care about what he's saying? Because that's just blasphemous. Like, bro, him doing that was wild. So let me go back to that situation, and I'm going to go and we're going to talk about the possibilities and everything that Antonio Brown can bring to the Raiders. Now that I've had time to think about it and actually analyze it, I blame both him, AB, and Mike Tomlin for that. Going to play for Chucky, see, this is the thing right here with John Gruden that people don't understand. John Gruden is a very, very lucky coach, all right? Because his original stay with the Raiders, they didn't really do anything. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, it was what it was. He was hard-nosed, all that stuff. He didn't do anything. He leaves, go to Tampa Bay, and he gets a ring there, you know what I'm saying, off of somebody else's team that was put together. We all know that whole situation and everything that was going on with that, right? But the one thing about him is the way he coaches is a different type of coaching. Now, we saw what happened as far as like with everything that went on with the wide receiver that he got rid of Amari Cooper. And we saw and we heard of certain ways that he was coaching Amari, and it was very, very like rough coaching. And you can see Amari's pretty quiet, but when he goes on the field, he handles his business. He's not, like, in my opinion right now, Amari Cooper is not in the top 5 as a receiver, but he's a pretty good receiver. He didn't respond well to John Gruden's coaching. So when I heard AB call him Mr. Gruden, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, bro? Okay, that's what you're doing out here? But he's playing his role right, because it's making it look like everything that he did was to get out of the Steelers contract, which is smart. I don't knock anything that he was doing other than the blonde mustache, because I already saw what he was doing. He wanted to make it so unbearable that it was nothing to talk about, because he was done with Big Ben, which there's so many other talks about Big Ben and the fact that he just does whatever he wants and they allow it. he was one of the first guys to actually just say, you know what, bro? Yo, hey, you can do what you got. I'm done, bro. Like, you come out here throwing 19 picks a game, and then you just walk away like, yeah, I'm going to retire. Like, he always has an excuse, Ben Roethlisberger, right? So I can understand him doing anything possible because I think they had 3 years left on that deal, so it makes sense, right? Okay, let's get past all that. Everything else that he's doing as far as, saying being a role model, all of that, in my opinion, is just him trying to show that there's a possibility for change. But as most of us already know, he's probably going to be the same old AB when things start to get crazy. So do I think he can help the Raiders? I ultimately do. Do I think that it's going to be a rocky relationship with him and Chucky when it starts? It's possible. Regardless of how good you are, you're going to butt heads with your coach. All great players are going to butt heads with their coach at some point. I don't know if it will be that fast. And let me break down the whole Derek Carr thing as well. Derek Carr, to me, is an underachieving quarterback. The year that he was about to be the MVP before he had the major injury, that was the one year that he was like, yo, bro, this guy, he might be able to do something. Since he's been back, he's been nothing short of horrible. I don't want to say he's terrible because that's Kirk Cousins, but he's been horrible on the field in certain cases. He's made reads last year that I saw that it's like, what are you doing? Like, horrific. I think AB will make him a lot better. Why is that? AB is a clean route runner. He knows the whole route tree. He knows all that stuff, but he's also a deep threat. And I gotta give Derek Carr that. He can wing that ball. Now, we could say, yo, but he had Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper was doing pretty well with Dak Prescott. That's no excuse. He's probably going to still be a terrible quarterback. That is true. But in my opinion, even though I know a majority of you guys would agree also, Antonio Brown is way better than Amari Cooper. So there's no, I wouldn't debate that with you because I would be wasting my time because, this dude's numbers speak for itself. I really do think that he's going to try to be a better individual with the Raiders. I do think that Derek Carr is a better fit at quarterback because he doesn't have any rings. So he can't lean on that like Ben Roethlisberger could. All right? Like, yo, I'm a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Shut up, bro. Like, he can't do that. So I think that he'll be more receptive to to what's going on with AB. I think that it'll be much easier for them to be able to, work together and take accountability for their actions. The issue is, if it gets off to a rocky start, a lot of you Raider fans are asking me, what do I think the outcome will be? The outcome will just be what we know AB is. It's just that I don't know if it'll get to that point because I think that Chucky will handle it a lot better than Mike Tomlin did. I think Chucky from the jump going to be like, listen, bro, all that coming late, bro, hey, that stuff, you got to cut that out. And I think that Antonio Brown understands this is sort of like his last shot, bro, because with receivers and in the 30s and stuff like that, it doesn't really work out mathematically. So he can put himself in a situation where nobody would want to take a chance on him. If he does somehow, some way mess this up. So I do believe that he's going to add a different dimension to the Raiders squad. I do see the Raiders doing pretty well if they can find defensive pass rush. Because I think offensively, they have a decent amount of tools. AB is already done. He's going to be drawing the coverage. He's going to be drawing roll coverage. He's going to be drawing double team and triple teams. So they got to put some stuff together to get other people open. A semi, decent receiver, whatever. I think it'll work out pretty fine. But I don't believe the hype from his press conference. But you can't deny the fact that AB is a great wide receiver. Now, we could go ahead and do the flip side with the Browns and OBJ, but that's for another podcast. This guy right here, I like what the possibilities are with him being a part of the Raiders, and I think he's going to get butts in the seats. I liked him, the way he held the jersey. I think he's going to look really good in that jersey. And again, I'm just satisfied that he no longer has a blonde mustache. And I think all of that was a ploy to get out of the Steelers organization, and it worked successfully, and I wish him nothing but the best. But again, a lot of the stuff that these players are able to do, it has a lot to do with the coaching. Because I ain't never heard about nothing like this with no Bill Belichick. Well, you could probably bring up Aaron Hernandez, but that wasn't happening on the field. The etiquette that these players show on the field, it's a lot to do with the coaching and the respect of the coaches. And I think the Steelers and Mike Tomlin need to kind of figure that out, because if they go through another year where there's any inkling of disruption with the Steelers, they probably will have to let go of Mike Tomlin, which I think they should have done already. Because I think it's the lack of the respect that the players have for him that ultimately resulted in the Le'Veon Bell and the Antonio Brown fiasco. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Until next time, one love.